Alert Desk with a rundown of Abrego Garcia's background.
Well, let's start things off with reporter John Gonzalez, who's live outside federal court in Greenbelt, Maryland, where, John, there's going to be a hearing on this topic later today.
That's right, and we'll see how much pull this hearing will have with this case because, boy, those words sent shockwaves from the White House yesterday. El Salvador President Nayib Bukele saying that he will not release Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who was mistakenly deported to that federal prison, to that gang prison in El Salvador, even describing Abrego Garcia as a terrorist. Now, have also stated that they have no basis for the Central American nation to return Abrego Garcia. So what happens next? Well, we know that later this afternoon, a federal judge here at the U.S. District Courthouse in Greenbelt will hold a hearing taking up the case. But there is a strong possibility that the Prince George's County father and husband may never return. I spoke with a senior policy analyst for the immigration team at the Center for American Progress. She's afraid that without due process in cases like this, it leaves legal residents vulnerable, and many should be very concerned.
President Trump has done this with Putin, where he has swapped prisoners in exchange for others. So Trump has the power to make this call and ask for his return. There is no reason why these two presidents are saying that they can return him when we've seen it done before.
Now, a senior immigration and customs enforcement official said in a sworn statement that Abrego Garcia, quote, is no longer eligible for withholding of removal, unquote, because of the Trump administration's claim that he was once a member of the MS-13 gang, even though no evidence of that has surfaced. Coming up later this hour, what Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland is planning to do. He says he'll even travel to El Salvador. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
The 7 News, we've been covering this story for weeks. Just look at all the articles we have on our homepage already. This one saying that he was mistakenly deported and that he's alive and secure. Another one talking to an immigration analyst about due process, as well as this latest story about the Salvadoran president saying that he won't be releasing him. And we're also learning more about Garcia's case. Court records state that he's been living in the United States for about 14 years. Along with it, we're also learning more about what's next. We're told it is not the first time he's accused of being a gang member. In fact, police questioned him in Maryland about it in 2019. Garcia said he wasn't and was eventually granted a withholding of removal status, preventing his deportation to El Salvador. Then on March 12th, he was stopped by ICE agents who wrongfully told him his status had changed. According to court documents, Justice Department attorneys have said he was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error.
Well, just outside the White House yesterday, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's family and supporters, as you see here, gathered there to pray for his return. Leaders of the immigrant advocacy group CASA, they are vowing to fight on despite the setback in bringing him home back to Maryland. Garcia's case is also the topic of our online poll this morning. You can scan the QR code on your screen to weigh in. The question here is, should a president have the final say in the fate of a deported person? The majority of you, 60%, say no. We'll check in on the results again in our next half hour.
I'm supposedly suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right? How can I return him to the United States? Like I smuggle him to the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. We just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
Stephen Island, I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President, no, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
I know this clown, El Salvadorian president, didn't just say that he would have to smuggle this dude back into the United States. What is this clown talking about? You're not releasing him back into your country. You're not smuggling him into the United States. The United States come pick him up. He goes immediately from jail to the airplane. They fly him back. They hold trial, find out whether or not he's a gang member. If he is, they deport him back to your country, and that's the end of that story. If he's not, then he's released, and that's the end of that story. But it is preposterous to sit there and say that you don't want to release him because you're releasing him back into El Salvador, which you wouldn't be doing, and that it's preposterous for you to say that you have to smuggle him back into the United States. This is just a clown show, a setup, and Marco Rubio is a mapache. And the Hispanics know what I mean when I say mapache. It's the same thing that African Americans say when we say coon.